Good morning, or good afternoon, or night, whenever you decide you're going to watch this video. Um, I am going to discuss the article that I was able to read and kind of analyze. So this is just the Designing Career and College Ready Programs for the MLS 604 research article work. I want to start off with this quote. If I can get it to go to the next slide here. There we go. Students who are unprepared for high school and fail in ninth grade are far less likely to graduate. So that's going to be the center focus of our PowerPoint moving forward. It is about preparing middle grade students for what to expect in high school, and then that kind of transitions to this buzzword of being career and college ready. Which simply means that students are graduating from high school with the English and mathematics skills that they need for an entry-level job, an undergraduate degree, a community college level school path. So just making sure that students are career and college ready. I thought this quote kind of fit right in there. So that'll be the center focus as we move forward. This is just an overview. So the title of the article that I selected, it was on the list of the ones that we provided on Blackboard. If you want to check this article out, it's called Redesigning the Ninth Grade Experience. And that immediately kind of hit home with me. It says reduce failure, improve achievement, and increase high school graduation rates. I'm currently a middle school teacher, so I haven't had that experience in a high school. So to hear redesigning the ninth grade experience was kind of interesting, because a lot of I wonder about how well my eighth graders are going to do as they move forward. Are we preparing them in the right way at Mint Hill Middle so that they can succeed at the next level? And there's a lot of things that go into that. So there's some topics that we will discuss as we move through this PowerPoint. And we'll talk about different programs that really seem to be interesting as kids move from middle school to high school. So we'll talk about that. We'll start with 3 essential questions that are listed there, and then establishing goals and components. And I took those straight from the article. I didn't want to make up any of my own. I think this was to analyze an article and kind of review or go over what was provided. So that's where I've got those goals and components. Then we will review the best practices and resources, which is the fun part. I really enjoyed reading about these programs and these resources that were listed. And then I have some additional resources as well. So what causes the decline? We're going to jump right in. What causes the decline in graduation rates? No excitement in learning. If I was not inspired to be a school administrator, there's no way I could make it through this class or this course or the whole program, at that matter. I wouldn't be able to wake up and come to school early and beat my co-workers here so I can make this PowerPoint. Just couldn't do it. If I was not inspired, if there was no excitement in what I was doing, then I probably wouldn't be here. So there's no excitement. That's a decline in graduation rates. Kids just aren't excited about their learning. And if there's no excitement, if there's no ownership, then we will probably see a decrease in student growth. So no goals for future learning and career paths. I think students can get caught up in, all right, I'm going to just pass this class. All right, I passed 8th grade. Let's move on to 9th, do the same thing over and over. And then it gets to a point to where high school's done and they think, well, what do I do now? I don't really want to go to college. Never thought I would have the option to go to college. Haven't really spoke to anyone about college. Maybe I want to go into just start a career. And they're kind of clueless on the whole idea of what to do after classes are done or after school is done. So just no guidance, no connection to a mentor or advisor. That kind of ties into that middle point there. We need to establish, as schools, we need to establish mentors for these students, whether it's the upper grades like 11th and 12th, kind of guiding the 9th and 10th graders, or whatever that may be. We'll talk about some different programs that kind of hit on that topic. What does the data say on this topic? Nationally, at least 25% fail to complete high school. I was shocked to hear that. 25% fail to complete high school. Not college. That's just graduate from high school. And then you have different subgroups that go along with that. So that's a big number. I mean, if we're having 25% of our students that just do not graduate at all, that is a huge number and a major concern in education. Why is this a serious issue? So this is going to just talk about different fiscal matters related to the topic as well of students not graduating. So high school dropouts cost the state anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 in income each year. If we have 25% not graduating, that is a lot of money. After the age 25, dropouts lose $10,000 in income each year. Past records show that high school graduates make 1/3 more in annual income than high school dropouts. So we have a big issue as educators. We need to reduce that percentage of high school dropouts, and it doesn't start in high school. This is why I selected this article, because if you think of high school dropouts, you think the problem starts in high school, and that's what I thought. But then when I read on through the article, they're tying into the middle levels and to middle school and how we can prepare students to enter high school in a way that sets them up for success and gains that interest from the time that they step onto that high school campus. All right. Here's the goals that I was talking about that were provided in the article, all tied into that career and college readiness, especially this first point here, completing college preparatory English and Algebra 1. That's right at the top of the list. That is a must. They must have that to move forward. And then just having a goal beyond high school. I think if they have something that is realistic to them outside of a math class or a language arts class, outside of a grade that they can earn, not just to set a goal to make straight A's or A's and B's and make the honor roll. So if they can see a realistic goal and have a direction or a path, that will help them succeed. And then, having a mentor or an adult who will assist and support them through the high school career. I think it would be an awesome idea if you paired up, and I know this would be difficult, especially in a district like CMS, where you have 450 students in a grade level, but if you could have a certain group of kids or students paired up with an adult at that school, a teacher, an advisor, or someone that can be their mentor, and they have that same group of kids as they move throughout 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th grade. And that would keep them with that direction. I think that would be something that could happen in a smaller school district. It would be really difficult in a district where there's 400 kids in each grade level. Just an idea that I thought of as I was reading through the article. So making sure that they're passing English and Algebra 1, they're establishing a goal outside of grades, and then making that connection with an adult. And then just those skills that are needed. Develop effective study, relationship, and time management skills. Those things that they can take with them throughout their entire life. Develop and understanding that. And then you have they can improve their achievement by developing, understanding, and just giving an effort. Someone has to, I think if you provide them with a goal. Set them up with somebody that can help them develop that goal and give them a vision. The effort's going to come after that. So they just need some guidance. And I thought those goals were great, and they really set up the rest of the article as we move forward, and you will see how that works. These are components to an effective ninth grade experience. I love this first part. Work with middle grade schools to prepare the students for high school. So I'm not going to ruin the surprise. You'll see how that ties into it later. I could talk on that topic forever. Provide a summer bridge program for students. So maybe students that are falling behind, they jump into this summer bridge program that kind of kicks them forward to help them be prepared as they enter high school. Then you have this ninth grade academy. Then you have career exploratory courses, and then the mentor program with teacher advisors. We're gonna go through all of those. Didn't want to spend too much time on this slide. This quote here: students cannot be forced to exert the effort to succeed. They must be inspired to do so. This talks about kind of what I was talking about earlier, as far as I would not be sitting here if I wasn't inspired to go into school leadership or be placed into a leadership role. Students are not going to be inspired to work in our class unless we relate that to them. As a teacher, we have to be relational. They're not just going to come in and say, all right, I'm going to be great in health class or in PE today or in language arts or science if they're not inspired to do something. So I love that word, inspired. We have to inspire them to move forward and put them on a path that's going to direct them into college and career readiness, whether it's going off to college or starting a career path, whatever that's going to be. We have to set them up for that success and help them to be inspired. So now we're going to start discussing the different programs and resources that were listed in this article. The first one is just an early orientation and preparation program. So that's just what it sounds like, meeting between ninth grade and middle level teachers. I think this is an awesome idea, to where you have ninth grade teachers, maybe it's during the summer, meet with eighth grade teachers, and they're collaborating and planning lessons and designing units that are aligned with one another, talking about the standards that that need to be addressed. So this idea, to me, might be difficult to bring those two groups together, but I think if it starts with the state, this could really happen. I think it's a great idea, because there would be no time for students to get lost in the mix if teachers are meeting and they're talking about what is going to be expected out of students in high school. This could be yearly, like I said, or I think it would be even ideal to meet twice a year, maybe during the holiday break, teachers get together, and then over the summer as well, just to kind of check in with each other. Shadowing program for ninth graders. So this would start off that mentor-mentee process and get those students moving in the right direction. Maybe talking with students that are older than them, that have experienced the high school life. Maybe ninth graders come tell their story to the classrooms, certain classrooms at middle school, in those eighth grade classrooms. Maybe the eighth graders take a field trip during the day, and they're paired with a student and a ninth grade level, or even 10th grade, and they shadow them the whole day. They're going to class with them, taking the notes, working with the students, going to lunch with the students, walking through the hallways, and just getting the full-on experience of high school. That would be the most beneficial. A lot of eighth graders going into ninth grade are nervous. They're not going to say they're nervous. They're not going to tell their parents, but they get there and they're overwhelmed. So I think that would reduce some of that anxiety. Summer Bridge Program, I just made a chart of the positive and negatives that I thought would come from this. It is a 4 to 6 week program. It's geared towards students that are struggling. Maybe they're not on the proper level that they need to be on moving into high school. So this would just be like a summer school course that gets them up to speed before jumping into high school. Positives: get student on, see improvements, gets them on the proper grade level, improves their study skills, and benefits them in the future, allows for students to work on time management skills and build positive relationships. I think it would be important how you design that summer school program. I think a lot of personalized learning, allowing students to take ownership, something other than just, they're already there in the summer. It's probably not going to be the greatest attitude as far as students coming in excited to learn during their summertime. So if the Summer Bridge Program was designed in a way that allows students to be hands-on, working in groups, doing interactive projects, that would be something that students would have a little bit more excitement and would inspire them to learn. Negatives here: you have to think of money issues as far as paying teachers, classroom resources that you'll need during the summer, and then just the essential learning tools, or maybe even the location of where you're going to do this Summer Bridge Program. So a lot of issues as far as how you're going to be funded for that. CMS already has a summer school program similar to this. They just allowed teachers to come in and get paid a certain amount during the summer, and that's how they gain their teachers. So I'm sure these programs exist already and have worked those issues out. Another negative that I briefly went over is allowing the proper time for teachers to prepare these lessons. If it's an established program where there's a curriculum already in place, planning has been done, that's great. But if it's kind of just thrown together, which probably wouldn't happen, and teachers had to bring in their own lessons, I could see that to be an issue. But I'm sure there would be data supporting the students that are in the program and the needs that are necessary. So that's the Summer Bridge Program. All right, Ninth Grade Academy. This program helps students to adjust to the challenges that are to come in the transition from middle school to high school. That's the biggest part the kind of the trend that I saw in this article, was just making sure that these students are prepared for high school. With the daily things that are going to come with it, the transitions from class to class, lunch, the friendships that they're going to develop, the opportunity that they have in high school that they may have not had in middle school, like clubs and extracurricular activities. So this would be a select 150 students that they would see that were at risk of falling behind during that ninth grade year, whether first semester goes by or first quarter goes by and we start to see a decline in test grades. Maybe there's a buildup in absences. Maybe there's behavioral issues. So just getting that select group, reducing that teacher to student ratio, and allowing teachers to work with these students on a more personal level to make sure that they don't fall behind. Really great idea. I think concerns would be maybe you're labeling these students, pulling them out. Maybe that's embarrassing to them as they start high school, that they're already singled out when they're trying so hard to fit in. Might be a concern depending on how you go about implementing this strategy or this academy. Getting the teachers on board. A lot of times teachers are already involved with extracurricular activities, sports, anything that goes on after school. A lot of high school teachers are involved. So having depending on the student body that would be involved in this academy, just having the people there to support it. So I think it's a great idea, just depending on how you implement it and how it's implemented into the schedule, when you would do it. Maybe they meet before school, after school, to where it's not so out there for all the other students to see that these kids are going into this academy that labels them as students that are at risk. So I think it's a great idea, just depending on how it's implemented. Oh, this is one of my favorites as I was reading. These college exploratory courses that expose students to the real world. You know, anytime that you can, if I would have had the opportunity to go to different job sites or career fairs in high school and was able to see the different things that were offered, I would have maybe had a more direct path. So I think this is an awesome idea. It introduces new courses every 4 to 6 weeks. So they're, you know, every 4 weeks they're switching to a new career or a new job that they're able to study and get more into and more details about. So it just allows them to be introduced to career skills in a variety of career fields. So this is all about exposure. Concerns here with this would be the resources needed as far as the lab materials, because they would have, the way it was explained is they would have an in-school mini lab. With that would come projects. All of this would be based around this career or the job field that they are studying. And then they would take visits to different places. So the physical resources for lab materials, transportation, and the implementation of the whole plan. How would you schedule this into the day? Would this be an extracurricular thing where they meet after school? Or would this actually be a course that they could take? I think if it's a course, it would be a great idea because it could be during school hours, but would we reduce the amount of students that would have the opportunity to experience this if it was a course? It's after school. As many students that want to come that they can sign up in. I think to me, it should be a mandatory class. Every student should have to take this college exploratory course so that they're exposed. And it could be a wide variety of career fields to where every student can relate. Another concern, depending on how you implement it, would just be the human resources. Again, just like the ninth grade academy, and just getting the teachers on board. So love the idea. I love the exposure. I think that helps with those components that we talked about at the start as far as getting those students on a path. I'm exposing them to options that they have and guiding them to that passion. So as far as the guidance and guiding them towards the passion that they have or the career field that they want to take, or whether it's college or starting a career right out of high school, you need to have advisors and a team of mentors surrounding these students. So I worked with a guy at Hickory Grove Elementary School. It was the school where I was part-time. I was split between two schools, and he was full-time there. And he used to say, "You are who you hang with." He would say that to the students. You are who you hang with. If you're hanging around people that are drinking, you're eventually going to start drinking. If you hang around people that are working hard in school and studying and involved in the extracurricular activities at school, that's probably what you will eventually do. So you are who you hang with. So I think if we put students around a solid group of people that have direction and guidance for them, then they will be better off. The most influence they will be is from their peers, but I think we can help that with setting up teacher advisor programs, and this is what the article is talking about. Completely agree with it. Assign 12 to 15 students per teacher to where they can have that, build positive relationships, help with that guidance as far as what is your direction? What do you want after college? After high school, moving through high school, what do you want to experience? Meet weekly. Maybe there's a time for the whole school to meet with their mentor team during the day, and that's who they meet with and discuss things. Maybe they're talking about struggles that they're dealing with in high school. Maybe they're talking about things going on at home. just kind of open the floor to a time where students can open up and maybe find their passion or their drive. Then you have this parents as educational partners. I think if you're at a school to where you have a lot of parent support, this would be a great idea. This would be more difficult at those schools that don't have as much parent involvement. Simply just preparing parents for the challenges that their child will go through during the high school years, especially during that transition from eighth to ninth. That's kind of been the trend here for this article. So just getting parents on board, I think is a great idea. Helping parents to see what your child is passionate about, see what they're driven. As long as it's positive, continue to support them in that and to build that passion and let it seem realistic to them. Extra help, extra time. I think that's a great idea. It's just an extra block during the day to support students that are falling behind. Great idea. Saturday school might be difficult. Saturday school might be difficult, but good idea to make sure students are staying on track. So here's some extra resources that I have. Sorry, I'll be done in like 2 minutes. Extra resources that were provided in the article. A great one that I read was Keeping Middle School Students on the Path to Success in High School. New mission in middle grades, and then grades 5th through 8. All great reads tied into this topic of keeping students on the path for success as they move from middle school to high school. We can't wait as middle school educators to prepare students for high school, we can't just let that happen in high school. It's got to start in middle grades to allow a smooth transition to keep them college and career ready. Hope you guys enjoyed.